So here's the thing. If you haven't manifested it yet, you don't believe in it yet. Okay. So that's normal. All right. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about, how I con myself, how I trick myself into believing in things that I think are impossible. Okay. How do I believe in my impossible dreams so they can manifest? Because this is something a lot of people struggle with, is that they have a dream, but they don't believe it. But again, that's normal. Okay. If you don't have it yet, you're not in resonance with it yet, therefore you don't believe in it yet. So you're not doing anything wrong. Okay. That's exactly where you're supposed to be. And in today's video, we're going to talk about how you can literally con yourself, trick yourself into believing. My first method here, I'm going to come clean with you. Okay. So if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you know that I've gone through a sober journey, and I actually made a whole video on that. If you'd like to see it, I'll put a link to it below. But I got sober. I got clean off of opioids, and also I stopped drinking alcohol. And last year, for a few months, I actually relapsed with alcohol. And it wasn't like the end of the world, okay? But I did start drinking again for a period of time. And the reason why I started drinking again was because I felt like I was missing out. And so maybe you've experienced this. Have you ever couldn't drink, or was taking a break from drinking, or tried to get sober and you felt left out when the people around you were drinking? Have you experienced that? Well, that's what I was going through, which is that not all my friends, but a good number of my friends are drinkers. And so we would be at parties or we would go on vacations and they're all cutting loose and drinking, and I felt left out. And so that led me to pick up the booze again for a window of time. And so I knew that I could quit drinking again. That I knew I could do. But what felt impossible to me was not feeling left out. I wanted to be able to quit drinking again and not be bothered at all by other people drinking, not feel left out at all. And so to accomplish that, I did this first thing here that I'm going to share with you that would be huge if there's something that you want to brainwash yourself into believing. And it is to use programming at night. Okay, and so this is a technique that I've used for lots of different manifestations. It works brilliantly. Find yourself an audiobook or possibly a podcast. I like audiobooks because they're usually pretty monotone, and there's not like a laugh track, and there's not noisy stuff that's going to wake you up. And if you can find the right person reading the book and they have a nice soothing voice, it's something that you can fall asleep to. And so what I did here was I found some books that I really liked that went through drinking and the pitfalls of drinking and why drinking wasn't helping you, and drinking was almost a disgusting thing, that it was poison, like a lot of negative talk about drinking, but with a nice soothing voice, and the authors were very pleasant. And so I would fall asleep listening to that. And I did that for probably about 2 months. But within the first couple of weeks of me doing this, I didn't want to drink at all. And I would see my friends drinking and I'm thinking, oh, why are they doing that? And that stuck with me. So now I can go to a party if people are drinking. Not only am I not drinking, but I don't want to drink and I don't feel left out at all. And it's that programming, because when you're sleeping, your subconscious mind is a lot more receptive to ideas rather than when you're trying to force yourself to learn something. And so while you're sleeping is a tremendous opportunity to reprogram how your mind thinks about certain topics. So if there are things that you want, listen to audiobooks about people getting those things that you want. If there's habits you want to quit, listen to stories about people who have successfully quit those habits and why it's so great that they quit those habits, okay? But find a way to integrate listening to programming at night, and you'll drastically improve your success in conning yourself into believing in what you want so that it can manifest in your reality. Now, for the next thing that I like to do to con myself into believing in my impossible dreams is something that I do to calm myself when I feel like I don't believe. So have you had this experience before? You probably have, where there's something that you want to manifest and it's stressing you out and you're feeling like it's never going to happen for you. Have you had that moment of despair? If you have, please go ahead and share it below so everybody else knows this is common. This is something we all go through. You're not doing anything wrong, but it is an area in your road to manifestation that you want to correct, okay? Because when we're trying to get something that we don't yet have, again, we don't believe in it yet. We just don't. And so when we're in that state of non-belief, if we buy into it too much and we feel bad about it and we beat up on ourselves about it, we stay there. That's the problem with it. And so what you want to do, if you want to trick yourself into believing in your dream, you want to take those moments of insecurity and find a way to reframe them so that they are empowering. Okay, and so this is best done, I think, with an example. So I'll kind of give you my go-to example, and you can use this as your own, or think of an example of yourself kind of in this situation. Okay, so the one that I like to look back on, when I find myself kind of feeling like I don't believe, I love to look back on who I used to be when I first started my business. Okay, who I used to be. So before I did all of this, you've probably heard this before, but I used to be a teacher. I was a high school teacher. And when I left that job to start doing this business and making the YouTube videos and doing all this law of attraction stuff, there was this period of time where it hadn't really ramped up yet. And so naturally, I was in that state where I didn't yet believe. And I felt really stressed out. I felt very insecure about it. Right? I'm sure you can kind of relate to that. You've probably been in a state like that before. But today, all of that is paid off. Okay, so today, the YouTube channel is great. We've got a great thriving business. I'm doing what I want to do. Yay, okay? It all worked out. Why? Because of that woman there. That woman who didn't believe, but still took a leap. She is the one that did it. Okay, and so whenever I find myself feeling like it's hard for me to believe in a dream, I'll think about it. I'm like, oh wait, I'm just like the Andrea from years ago who was just starting that business and didn't know what was going to happen, but she just went out there and tried for it. And that empowers me in that moment because I realized just how scrappy I was back then and just how much like belief I must have actually had to take a stab at it. And so if you find yourself grappling for these dreams that you want, you're like that scrappy person. Like you don't have any reason to believe yet, but you're still kind of going for it. And that's amazing. And so this is a really great way to neutralize those negative feelings that you have about not believing and empower yourself in that moment to realize, oh my goodness, this is amazing. I'm someone who's going for my dreams right now. Future me is really going to be impressed with current me. All right, and so this is a great way to kind of neutralize out that negative feeling that you may have about not believing in your dream so that you can drop that resistance and just start believing that it's gonna work out for you. All right, now I've got some more tricks for you to con yourself into believing in your dream. But first, if you love law of attraction videos that teach you how to manifest the life of your dreams, please make sure to go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And of course, please make sure to turn on your notifications so that you are notified whenever I put out a new video. I release content like this every single week, and I know you'll enjoy coming along for the ride. All right, now let's jump into one of my favorite brainwashing techniques. I love brainwashing myself. It's important. You gotta learn how to do this. You gotta learn how to brainwash yourself if you wanna start manifesting your dreams. You gotta find a way to believe. This is one of my favorites, and it's just to get it around me. Get it around me somehow, even if it's not mine. I get it around me. And this is something you've probably heard me talk about cars. If you watch my videos a lot, I love cars. When I was young, you know, nobody bought me a car. I wasn't one of those fortunate kids whose parents bought them a car. And it was very hard for me to get my first car. And my first car was a total hoopty. It didn't have air conditioning. It was a stick shift. It was no bueno. Okay. So for me, that was like the impossible dream when I was younger, is like driving in a luxury car was like, oh my gosh, how did anybody do that? Well, when I learned about the law of attraction, I really went to work with cars because, again, I guess I'm materialistic and I like vehicles. But I worked really hard on getting them around me. So I would go to the dealership. I would test drive the car. I would go to car shows. I've been very big on getting around the cars. If there's a nice car in a parking lot, I will get out of my car and walk over and look at it. I like to get myself around nice cars because for me, that was important, okay? Whether or not it really is important, I don't know, but for me, it felt important. And doing that, just getting around those things, allowing yourself to see, touch, drive, experience that, it puts you in resonance with that. It gets you to start to believe that you can actually have it. And so today we've got a Tesla Model S in the driveway and we've got a Maserati in the driveway. There's no more hoopties, okay? And I largely credit that to just being comfortable with being around this kind of stuff and putting myself out there. And so this is another really great form of programming that you want to use if there's things that you want to manifest. So let's say that you want to manifest like a great relationship. Well, get yourself around people who have great relationships. You know, you don't want to hang around too much with people who are sobbing about how things aren't working and how the boyfriend cheated and this one left me. Hang around people that have really great, successful relationships. Get around it somehow. If you want to get in like great physical condition, you know, maybe join a gym where there's a lot of great looking people in there. Just get around them because it will start to rub off on you. You'll start to believe that you can have it too. And if you like the idea of getting into fantastic physical condition, I do also have a free PDF where I share some of my best body manifesting tips where you can get into the physical condition of your dreams. Folks, I'm 43 years old. I've got 2 kids. You know, again, I'm a former drug addict. And I've got all kinds of reasons why I should not be in good shape. The reason why I am is because I know how to apply the law of attraction to my physical fitness. And so I've bullet pointed all those major things that I do. So if you would like to pick up that free tip sheet, please go to bestbodytips.com. Again, that is bestbodytips.com. And of course, I will go ahead and put a link below in the description. Also, if you are new to my work here, I would love to invite you to take my 5-minute law of attraction test. If you would like to know for sure that you really are the master of your reality, you are the one creating everything, I've designed a very simple, very quick 5-minute test where you can prove it to yourself. Literally put something out and watch it come back. And to take that test now, please go to manifestingtest.com. Again, that is manifestingtest.com. I'll also put the link to that in the description. But again, manifestingtest.com is the direct link. Thanks so much for watching today's video on how I con myself into believing in my impossible dreams. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. And of course, I look forward to bringing you another one soon. Bye-bye.